when we were so young skating together, 7 and 9, we were, well, sometimes not talking, and if we were probably talking about what we were going to eat after skating or do after skating or what other fun activities we would get up to.
Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer.
Yeah, when we first started, I didn't want to hold your hand ever or talk, or that was the most nervous part, was having to have a conversation with a girl.
It's funny how things change, and as we got older, we started focusing more on our job.
I remember being at a competition in 2007 and watching the current world champions and thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to lose to these guys for 3 more years and not win the Olympics. And that's when I was just kind of like, let's get this. We still have that inner fire. We still have that, want to.
The Olympic champions.
We still have a lot that we want to prove to ourselves. It'd be nice to have another Canadian title, and we're shooting for that this week.
And on this Friday night, as we come live to the Coliseum in Moncton, New Brunswick, you are looking at world champion Patrick Chan as he practices for his short program. You will see coverage of the men's short and Patrick Chan tomorrow afternoon at 2 Eastern on TSN. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Williams. Welcome back to Moncton, New Brunswick, and TSN and CTV's coverage of the 2012 Canadian Figure Skating Championships. Now, we're on tonight with dance. I'll tell you, we have some other great competitions, some interviews, but first of all, the coverage for tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday is extensive, so let's show you the schedule. The dance short program tonight, we will also go back and recap the women's short from this afternoon and also the pairs short competition. If we can put up that schedule and take a look at tomorrow, we're on the air tomorrow afternoon at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific with the men's short, the aforementioned men's short. Then at 4 Eastern, 5 o'clock here in the Maritimes, we will have a hot change from TSN to CTV. Then you will see more of the men's short as well as the women's free. There will be a 1-hour break, and then at 7 Eastern, it's a busy day. 8 Maritimes, 4 Pacific. We're back with a great night tomorrow night. The pairs and the dance free, featuring, of course, Virtue and Moyer. And then on Sunday afternoon at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 on the West Coast, it's the men's free featuring Patrick Chan. Well, in addition to the dance, the short competition tonight, we are going to go back to show you some outstanding skating, some interesting stories from earlier today. Let me begin with the women's short, and the story there is 16-year-old Caitlin Osmond. She is born in Burin, Newfoundland on the Placentia Bay. She trains out of the West Edmonton Mall. She told me this afternoon, hey, this big crowd didn't bother me at all because I am accustomed to training in front of crowds at the West Edmonton Mall. Caitlin Osmond is the leader after the women's short. We will see more of that in just a minute. Also from earlier today in the short competition for the pairs, the leaders are Megan DeHamel and Eric Radford. But the story is Jessica DeBay. Remember, she won a championship earlier with Bryce Davison, but is a new team with Sebastian Wolf. And here is their performance. They were absolutely outstanding. 0.7 points separate the top 3 teams, DeBay and Wolf, trailing DeHamel and Radford. Now, this is the 4th time the Canadian Championships have come to the city of Moncton, 1974, 1985, 1992, and of course, 2012. Right now, let me take you back, as we have dance tonight. Let me take you back via videotape, 1985, the dance final here in Moncton. A young Canadian team, Tracy Wilson, and her partner, the late Rob McCall. Tracy, you have not changed a bit, winning the gold medal. What's really interesting, if you follow figure skating, the bronze medal, and again, this is 1985, here in Moncton, the bronze medal that year went to the great team of Isabelle and Paul Descheny, the brother and sister from Quebec, and of course, based in France. Now,
You haven't changed a
there is the aforementioned Ms. Wilson standing by with our Rod Black. Tracy, you've got some great memories from this city.
Oh, yes, great memories of this city and also that man I skated with, Rob McCall. What a delight he was, and I never get tired of at least watching him whenever I can.
Well, let's focus on tonight. And I guess really the theme of today has been unpredictability. That's what makes this a great sport. That's why so many of you love this sport. The unpredictability factor, the X factor. The most predictable thing probably this weekend will be that Patrick Chan and Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir will win championships. For Virtue and Moir, though, they've reeled in some of the other dancers who have really closed the gap in points,
sure.
but still Tessa and Scott are obviously the prohibitive favorites.
Well, it's like when the 4-minute mile was first beaten, everybody believes, okay, it's doable. And that's what Tessa and Scott have done to ice dance in Canada. They have inspired the young skaters, and the sky's the limit. And you're seeing Weaver and Poge make tremendous strides internationally. I mean, they're gunning for the podium at the World Championships. And, it'd be so fantastic to watch this event, because even in the junior ranks and right through the senior ranks, there's a lot of very fine teams. It's really quite amazing to watch the progress here in Canada.
Brian mentioned our extensive coverage. We're going to watch 14 dance teams here tonight, including Tessa and Scott. So we're going to get a chance to measure the up-and-comers against the former world champions and Olympic champions, and we're about 60 minutes away. So we've got lots to talk about. If you missed our coverage earlier today, we have the women's short program to come a little bit later. Surprise, surprise. And we have the pairs short program to come right now. No surprise that it's close.
But a big surprise that it's a virtual tie. And we talked about 4 teams going in, how they all have an even plan on paper. It's how they go out and deliver. And we saw some really interesting goings on in the short programs. Won't give it all away, but the intrigue is just building.
All right, let's start it off from earlier.
Jessica DeBay and Sebastian Wolf, congratulations on a great performance. Jessica, you've won this event in the past with Bryce Davison. You're home watching it last year. I mean, I know there's hard work involved, but it's happened so quickly. Has it surprised even both of you?
I wouldn't say it's a surprise, because we worked really hard, but of course it's, I would say maybe a little bit overwhelming, because it's so big for us to, be second at national after the short, after not even 1 year skating together. But it's really exciting at the same time. Yeah.
Like a dream for you?
Yeah, I mean, especially for me, I'm learning every day at the ring with Jessica, and just being able to compete like that here at the Nationals. I mean, I'm impressed with how we skated today, and I'm happy for us.
Now, I know she's tough, but she's got a sore ankle. We'll see a throw in a minute where she came down on it. Was the ankle bothering you today?
I was trying not to think about it. I didn't do any this morning. I did one this morning just to make sure I did it before the competition, but we didn't do one in warm-up just to keep it for the program. So I would say I didn't feel it. Maybe because I was on, maybe it was distressed or something, but I don't know. I was just mostly trying not to think about it. So.
Well, let's take a look at your jumps. You take us through them, and I think we'll begin with the triple twists and describe as you did them.
Well, as we're doing the triple twist, on my part, I'm just thinking about pushing her as hard as I can in the air. And I was not nervous, but it was the first time for us trying it in competition, so I was happy we did it that way.
How about the side-by-sides?
Side-by-side, it felt awesome. I mean, I was a bit nervous about that, just because, sometimes in practice it's not always 100%. So.
And there's the right ankle on the throw. You didn't feel that?
No, I didn't. As I said, just as we were skating into it, I was thinking, and I was like, no, don't think about it, just do it. And I guess it worked out. So.
Tracy Wilson described you, and I'll give you the exact quote, as blending as a team, but blending like you'd been together for years. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we started skating, we had a good connection, I would say. Like, we were friends, so we knew each other already. And I feel like the more and more we're skating together, the more competition we do, it's getting better and better. And we're knowing each other more on the ice, and like it just makes it easier.
Now, Sebastian, be honest. You guys had to feel pretty good. The top flight's still to come, 4 pairs. And, I mean, when you nailed this, this was fun to watch, the pressure you put on them.
Yeah, I was happy to, because that's why we work so hard at the rink every day to do performances like that at big competitions. And during the year, we didn't skate the way we really wanted, or like we could have done better. And to be able to put everything together at nationals, it was a big feeling for me.
Well, you did yourselves proud here today. Tomorrow night on CTV, prime time, the Paris Free. Good luck. Jessica
you.
DeBay, Sebastian Wolf. Thank you both. Well done.
Thank you, Brian. Some of the merchandise you can purchase here in Moncton going like crazy over there. We still have the ice dance short program to come from Moncton tonight. And coming up, we're going to look back at the women's short program. An amazing skate by a teenager earlier today here at the Coliseum.
And on this Friday night, we are back live at the Coliseum in Moncton, New Brunswick. TSN and CTV's extensive coverage of the 2012 Canadian Figure Skating Championships still to come tonight. We have live coverage. We will show you the short program and the dance competition. Don't forget, tomorrow night, live, full CTV network, we'll have the free dance and the free competition in the pairs. So still to come tonight, it's the short dance portion of the competition. Earlier this afternoon, and Rod Black talked about the young teenager born in Newfoundland, training in Edmonton, that stole the show during the women's short program. We will see her in just a minute, but right now let's go back earlier today. The women's short, once again, Rod Black and Tracy Wilson.
Well, yeah, it was earlier today, and it was a terrific competition. Let's talk going in. Cynthia Phaneuf, all eyes on Cynthia, defending champion, a two-time champion, 7 years between her Canadian crowns. But a lot of pressure on Cynthia Phaneuf, maybe more than she's ever had before.
Yes, you're right. And that's because just the timing of this competition in all that Cynthia has been going through, she is rebuilding. She's gone back to the drawing board. She's taken apart her golf swing and had to try and put it back together in 6 weeks to get ready for the Canadian Championship.
That's not easy to do.
No, it's not. Cynthia's had some fine moments in practice. And again, a lot of pressure trying to pull it all together here to defend her title up against a fine Amelie Lacoste and a number of young up-and-coming teenagers with a handful of triples.
Let's go back to earlier today here at the Coliseum in Moncton.
The next defender representing Central Ontario, please welcome Alexandra Naharo.
Here's Alexandra Naharo from Richmond Hill in Vaughan, Ontario. Last year at the Senior Championships, she finished just off the podium, a fourth-place finish.
She was second in the short program at Canadians, 18 years of age. And she is trained by Canadian champion Tracy Wainman. She's in an earlier flight because of the challenge competition, the qualifier for this event. She was 29th in the short program. It was disastrous. Second in the free and pulled up to fifth, but an earlier draw here. Let's take a look at her opening triple flip, double toe. Nice start. And you may ask, how do you come 29th and second in the same competition? Part of it is, you get out there, and for skaters often is it you can't feel your legs. You feel stiff. You feel like your feet are in cement. Not today. Springy knees, just hanging on there to her triple lutz. Those who can compete, though, Rod, day in, day out, if they don't feel just so, they know how to find that way to get right into the game. You can see great energy here at the end of Alexandra's performance. Sure helps when you're doing those jumps. It helps to lift everything.
Good for her, someone who has to put 2 programs in a row together. So now concentration on the free skate, and now pressure on those skaters skating in the final flight here today in Moncton. Well, shades of last year, Alexandra Najarro.
And her coach there, Tracy Wainman.
The short program score.
And those excellent scores, 52.34, and that is a season's best and the lead for Alexandra.
So this is what we saw earlier today. Caitlin Osmond, 56.94, the 16-year-old who trains actually in the West Edmonton Mall. Amelie Lacoste, 52.43. Alexandra Najarro, 52.34. The defending champion, Cynthia Phaneuf, 49.66, struggled in her short program. We will have the women's free skate tomorrow. There still is an opportunity for the defending champion, Cynthia Phaneuf, but she's going to have to go clean, and she's going to have to get some help.
Yes, well, for Cynthia, though, this will expose her second mark, the component mark, which is really such a strong point for her. The point value's doubled, but really her interpretation, her expression, her maturity, she needs some of her jumps to back it up, but it is doable for Cynthia to defend her title.